Hey, everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Absent Minded Podcast, episode 15, as a matter of fact.
Woo!
Recorded on this fabulous September 9th? Did I forget to change the title?
Yeah.
It's a lot later than September 2nd. It's September 9th. My name is Travis Stockton, at Ray Charlazard. As always, to my immediate left, Andrew Crandell, at Andrew Loves Video Games.
He went you again.
I know. I think Travis is taking the no laws rule a little too liberally right now.
White Claw, no law. 2019. And we also have today with us Ethan Newbolt, at Soulsbjorn.
How's it going, everybody?
It's going pretty good. This was a laid back week for me. I got way too much done, I feel like. All the games, watched some movies. Mm-hmm. No TV, because TV's for losers.
Exactly.
TV's for losers.
Right. Football started. TV's not for losers.
It technically doesn't start till...
Started yesterday.
25 minutes for me, because the Texans go on at like 7:30, and I won't be watching that game.
What?
Because we'll be here doing this. But that's neither here nor there. Mm-hmm. As always, you can watch or listen to every episode of Absent Minded Podcast on Friday mornings at 10 a.m. when we go live on absentmindedpodcast.com and your favorite podcast platform of choice. You can also go to absentmindedpodcast.com to leave us a voice message. If you have something you want to say, something you want us to talk about, want to compliment Ethan on his ability to eat way too much food. We just got dim sum, and he's got a backup peanut butter and jelly sandwich on the table.
So fit and trim, it is outstanding.
It's impressive. It is impressive.
It really is.
There as well at absentmindedpodcast.com. You can also leave us $1, $5, or $10 through the listener support program if you so choose. But if you don't, we still love you. That's all. It's all fine. It's all good. It's all dandy.
It's all less, but that's okay.
No, I love you all equally.
No, you guys, that's
You're listening,
fine.
we love you.
Go ahead, that's fine.
You can't buy my love, okay?
You can definitely buy my love.
You can't buy my love. Now, first off, before we get started to what we've been doing this week, Ethan.
Yes.
We were talking about Darksiders last week.
Yes, we were.
Unfortunately, because none of us really care. But we had to make a quick...
That statement is true.
You did something you don't usually do.
Pretty
You convinced me of something that I didn't think was true.
Just because I sold you something you didn't necessarily want to buy.
You sold me on the Final Fantasy 16 release date getting announced. That's what you sold me on.
Yes, okay, so last week I spoke with some passion about Darksiders 4. The non-existent
it was a lot of passion.
Darksiders 4 as of today, there is no talk of Darksiders 4 that I know of.
Nothing
or that we could
confirmed
find.
or officially announced or anything.
Yes. But I have to assume that they're working on it or talking about it or something's in develop, like something's in the code. I don't know how you make a game, but Darksiders 3 ends on a note.
It's not as a sure thing as we might have been led to believe.
I still think it is, but that's just me. And when Darksiders 4 is announced, you guys will both suck my collective dicks.
No, we'll say, look, Ethan was right.
Because
just a couple years ahead
Darksiders
of
3
time.
kind of sets up the Darksiders 4 even more because it...
Sure, and there's never been a sequel that's been set up that's never come to fruition. So it's like it's a sure thing.
I'm pretty sure it even it makes a few I don't want to say loopholes from the first Darksiders. I think 3
it
kind of
retcon some things
that doesn't necessarily make sense now with some of the decisions they make. So it's one of those games.
I'm sure it's
so
coming.
because don't all the
sure
Darksiders games happen at the same time?
I think
story-wise.
I think 2 and 3 happen simultaneously, but 1 has definitely already happened because War is a prisoner in 3. Spoilers.
I don't want to devote too much more time to a series that
fine.
none
Go
of
ahead.
us play.
Move on. I booted up Darksiders 3. I tried
we've all booted them up. That's all I'm talking about.
I'm talking about
I've
the
never
new
played
one.
a
No, I'm
single
talking
one
about
in
the
my
new
life.
one.
I just noticed that I wrote Hoseman of the Apocalypse instead of Horseman over here. So
Makes sense since the Darksiders 3
Nice.
protagonist was a woman.
That's great.
Because
What
she
does
would,
that do with Hoseman?
I don't know.
He's calling her a hoe.
Yeah.
If you lady listeners didn't hear that sexist comment. Drew, how do you sleep at night?
Usually on my back.
How dare you? Really? I can't sleep on my back.
Yeah.
I can sleep on my side.
So,
Darksiders 4 is coming. End of story. Sorry, guys.
Ethan, I know you said you've been playing Apex and World of Warcraft.
I mean,
It's the same story every week.
Don't-
Drew, did you
no,
play
you're right,
anything
you're
else
right.
besides
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Apex and finishing up Control?
No, no, but I did. I beat Control.
I want that sound
Yeah.
clip.
And we'll talk about that in just a moment. I did want to go over. Like I said, I got way too much done. I was able to finish. I started and completed Gears of War 3, start to finish.
Yep.
And then the first half of Gears of War 4.
Damn, you're already done with the first half.
And I've also done disc 1 of Final Fantasy VIII Remastered.
Look at you.
I have way too much free time on my hands right now. I don't know what I'm doing.
You're
need more
playing
work.
games, obviously.
I need more work. Yeah, so Drew and I finished Control. We said we were going to have our full talk about it this
You
week.
did finish it?
Yeah, I did. Well, I
for
beat
you,
the critical path
What does that mean?
main campaign.
Oh, okay.
He didn't fart around too much.
That's cool. Wait, I thought that
He
was
didn't
kind of
Metroidvania the Metroidvania.
I thought that was kind of the point of this game. Yeah,
It is, but he got down to the wire because
That's fine.
He was letting you convince him into playing Apex too much.
Yeah, that is true.
I think we played very little Apex this week, actually.
Well,
No,
I don't know what
we
he was
played
doing.
at least a couple of rounds every day.
That is not true.
He's always in here watching.
We
It's
did not
always
play
sunny
yesterday.
for the 50th time.
Oh, yeah,
and-
that's
and
right.
I don't think we played the day before that either.
No, I think we played the day before. Because I streamed and then we played afterwards. I think.
can't recall.
Yeah.
He thinks.
I believe both of you.
Yeah, well, I kind of wish that I had put more time into like going and exploring like the weirder areas and everything like that. Like by the time I'd gotten the shield and the seize ability,
Yeah.
I was like already at chapter 8, you know, so I was pretty close to the end of the
That's
game.
why I told you. I was like, ooh, you probably do want to. Because a lot of the side missions, they're not too involved, but they are almost. They may as well be main missions. Any other
Right.
game would have been like, hey, you have to do these because there are even, some abilities that you unlocked
Yeah,
that
exactly.
are locked behind
like
these side missions.
Shield and
Yeah.
seize being one of them. Like
Because I
even
peeked at your achievements and I was like, you hadn't even popped the one for having like 50% of all the ability upgrades.
oh
yet.
yeah.
wow.
Whereas when I got
Called
to the
out.
the end of the game,
You were just decked the fuck out.
I maxed out everything. I did all. There were only
Bragger.
there were like 2 side missions. Well, I just put so much more time. I had more time
Ignore
to play.
me.
And
Just
I like
talk-
to dig
talk
around in the
about your
corners
game.
of these kind of games and stuff.
ignore
But yeah, because I got to fart around with some of the secrets and stuff where they aren't even attached to missions. They're just things
Did
that
you
you
figure
can
out?
find.
I assume you figured out the luck puzzle.
Remind me what the luck puzzle is.
So it's the one where you go into like the Department of Luck Research or
oh,
whatever.
by the way, it is all Control spoilers.
Yeah.
Sorry. Technically, what we said so far is not spoilerific. But solutions. If we talk about the solution for the luck puzzle, that would be a spoiler. We'll put a little note in the description so you'll hear this. But spoilers, bro. And then if you haven't played Control, come back later. But then listen to the rest of the episode too, because the rest is gonna be good. I'll tell you where to skip. to
Yeah,
get to the
don't
good stuff.
don't listen to him.
But
Don't stop.
the luck puzzle.
Don't leave.
It's like
Remind me of
it's
the
like
luck puzzle.
the Department of Control. It's like where you first run into Marshall, and
Yes.
it's got the Lucky Cat there. It's got the
Oh,
4-leaf
yes.
clover.
That was the one I told you about, actually.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the roulette table in the next room and
yeah.
everything.
I went there. I tried to figure it out for about 30 minutes, and I couldn't figure it out. And
It's
I
a weird one. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely weird.
Department of Luck sounds like the coolest fucking thing ever.
It's
'cause
really cool, actually,
It's
in
sorry.
game because, like
Like, that
I
is
said,
the-
they have the Lucky Cat. They have a bunch of different,
That is the-
luck symbols from different
It's
cultures
luck
and
and
everything.
something else. There's like
Study
another
of-
word.
Yeah, I
I can't
can't-
think of what it is.
Study of luck and I guess maybe
Probability.
probability.
Well, that's what I was
that's
thinking.
it. Yeah, nailed it,
it
dude.
has to be. It.
Yeah,
Like,
so the
that's
whole idea,
fucking awesome.
because the whole idea
Yeah.
of Control is that like it's the Bureau
There's
of
an
Control.
astral plane or something.
Yeah, and
yeah.
the idea of luck and stuff is that there is no luck, but there's certain items that as a culture we've decided give luck, and
Sure.
they are able to manipulate the astral plane because of
Horseshoes.
the thought we put into them as like in the public consciousness.
Horseshoes?
Yeah, horseshoes
And,
are in
like,
there.
the astral plane being a
The
place.
singing fish
Are there
that you put up like on a wall, and
Yeah, people do
4-leaf
put
clovers.
People do put a lot of
There's the elephant
stock
there.
in those.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then
Is there just like a rabbit
and then,
in a
like-
room without no feet?
no,
in the
they didn't
game at
have
all?
that. They didn't go
No.
that far or anything. I feel like that would like push the boundaries. I feel
Yeah,
like they
that
get
would
like
not turning people into dust.
I think it's funny too, though. I think there
No,
was
I
a
think
rabbit's foot that was like an object of power.
Really?
that I
Has to
found
be.
in one of the because throughout the game there's tons of collectibles.
Yeah.
and you saw it in that the area of the map. I can't think of the name of it. All the areas have such weird names and stuff. But the Panomicon or something. Where they-
Panopticon.
Panopticon, yeah.
Panoptic.
And they have all of these
Canon
objects
Optimus
of
Prime.
power in like jail cells essentially, and throughout the game you start finding essentially like project reports on what each of these devices does. Like there was one of them where it was just like a refrigerator that if people weren't looking at it, like things would fly out of it. And so like someone has to be looking at the fridge all the time.
Oh my
because
God.
if you so they have like
You
they have
come
security
across that
guards that are on
guy.
shifts where it's like someone is always in there with their eyes held open. And they work on shifts, and so one of the side missions was that like all this stuff has gone down at the
Jesus
building,
fucking
and so
Christ.
everyone's like left or they've been recalled to other stations.
Yeah, and so
but
this
he's
guy
been there
can't
since
leave,
the
yeah.
event happened, and so he's just been there with his eyes open for
He's
like
dead,
48
right?
hours straight.
You
48 hours, okay,
You
yeah.
run past him like through a main hallway, and you see him in a room, and he's just like, "Help! help!
So this
help!"
is one you haven't
Yeah.
done yet, I guess.
No, well, I
because
like
he
I
asks
said,
you to come back, and you're like, oh yeah, I'll get
yeah,
you out of
exactly.
there.
He asked you to come back, but no, I haven't done that one yet.
Okay, so I won't.
Dude.
I won't talk about that one.
Go back for him.
Yeah, he's just like screaming, but she's just like.
I'm going to eventually. It's just okay. Yeah, so like
in the game, they won't let you do it right away because
Sure,
you have to
yeah.
go get your brother Dylan out of
Whatever.
like the third level of this
Dylan.
place or whatever.
yeah, I was kind of like disappointed with
Yeah,
the whole
see,
Dylan
fuck
aspect
Dylan.
of it. Like,
How so?
I don't know. I wanted something more out of it. Like I was expecting like a badass boss fight with Dylan or something.
Nah, I mean, I guess so, but if anything, that would almost be too predictable. Like your long lost brother who was kidnapped and he's been turned evil,
No, he's
quote
right.
unquote.
He's
and
the
then
bad guy
at
the
the
whole
end,
time.
you fight him. That's almost like too contrived. I like that in the end, like you do save him. You get him. You get him back. You
Well,
remove
he's
the
in,
hiss
like, a
from him,
coma,
and
yeah.
he's in a coma. But there's so many things about this game where, man, Control 2 is coming.
For sure.
It hasn't been confirmed, but it's definitely coming because there's so many things that have
Just
been
like
left open,
Darksiders 4.
and they're hinting at the future Control games. This is clearly going to be a series of titles.
You are reaching, sir. This game has
But this is
has
what
a
I really hope-
established universe.
I hope
Fuck
that
you.
it does have more because one thing I didn't think I liked at first was I get to the end, I clear out a lot of the side missions, I re-explore a bunch of areas,
Yeah.
and there are still so many unanswered questions and so many themes, like the whole thing with the board, where it's like every once in a while you get
The
contacted
board?
by that black pyramid thing
Yeah.
in the astral plane, and the board's speaking to you in like really weird coded messages and stuff that are
Yeah.
some of them are really funny. The board, like a board that would run a business, or like a chairman board or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? A board.
Yeah.
Like a board game.
Not like
You get it because it makes sense because they're in an office environment.
Exactly. But the more I kept thinking about it, I'm like, dude, if anything,
Board
I
of
like that because I
directors.
didn't need it to be like a 40-hour game that told the whole. I like that it was a shorter thing, and that it does. And I think this game is already done so well that there's a Control 2 coming. Like this engine got so much hype as far as a technology standpoint, the way that people are talking about it, and they did leave enough. You got answers to certain questions, but now Jessie Faden is like, she's the director now. She's come into her own in her
That director's
position.
outfit you get at the end is actually kind of
Oh,
cool.
it's so tight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot they could easily keep playing with because they did leave so much open. There's so much more going on with that whole idea of the astral plane and how it affects our waking lives and stuff is like such a deep
How it's a
theme.
real place, but you can only access it through your mind or whatever.
you know
Like,
what
they
else
could
has
play with that
an
so much.
astral plane,
Legion.
Astral Chain, which is another game that just came out.
That is. I didn't play it though because it's on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I didn't either. Also because it's bad.
What?
I've heard it's got
Yeah, I know it's fine.
Great review.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
You can't trust anything Ethan says on this show unless it's about World of Warcraft or Dark Souls.
That is just untrue.
Darksiders 4, everybody. Coming soon.
It is
Um,
it's not coming soon. It's coming.
How cool would it be if it, in like Control 2, like they just somehow threw
Oh, it's
Alan
fine
Wake
when
in
he
it?
fucking says it.
He said, how cool would it be? Would. If. These are important words
Whatever.
that describe ideas. What's up?
Oh, I just said how cool would it be if,
he said it.
I
Alan
didn't
Wake,
hear it because I was arguing with you. Alan Wake, yes.
if they threw Alan Wake in the second one somehow.
It'd be cool. I almost wish there was a fuller cameo because, like,
Because I
that's
remember
such a
he
cool
shows
character.
up in a couple memos.
Yeah, they definitely reference Diamond Lake and
Yeah.
I think it's Diamond Lake.
The event
Yeah.
in Washington, yeah.
Yeah, because I sent y'all a screenshot of that when I found it. I was like,
I
oh my
feel-
God, it's good. Because I was looking through all throughout Quantum Break for similar references to like
Right,
tying
right,
the
right.
universes together. And there's some Easter eggs, but it's nothing,
Nothing
as blatant
really.
as
Hey, here's
all
a
of
reference
Alan
to the
Wake
character.
occurred within
Yeah.
Control. Like
Yeah,
it's
they've
one of
talked
the
about how
altered
Quantum
events.
Break is kind of like the
Which makes sense too because they don't own that IP. That's a Microsoft owned thing, and like
Oh,
Microsoft
really?
will never do anything with it. Yeah,
Huh,
and
okay.
because they very deeply funded that game. That was one of those games. it was in development for like 5 years.
That's why they call it the Alan Wake universe, not the Quantum Break universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. How'd you like the characters like Dr. Darling and stuff? And
Darling, I liked that. I felt the actor that played him did him very well. I felt like
awesome.
Yeah,
he was so good.
His person, like you felt like you just knew him, and you felt his descent into madness for sure, and just realizing what he has to do. To
I don't think he went mad. He just, he realized the gravity of the experiments they were doing.
He wasn't Trench. You know, Trench kind of went mad. By the end,
sure, he's like, you almost think he's gone crazy. Because like the last scene you see him in is like he's just in his underwear in his lab and is talking about how like I'm gonna be gone and like but like blah blah blah, and I definitely don't think he was crazy at the end. Any more crazy than you'd be for someone who's really gotten to the heart of how nuts everything that's happening is.
Exactly. But like whenever you first come across him, you're like, there's something really weird about this guy.
Yeah, he's so upbeat and just His actor was great. I liked a lot all the different characters. I really loved Jesse by the end. Like Jesse Faden by the end of this.
Oh yeah, it's great.
One of my favorite characters in video games.
Yeah, definitely.
And I love the whole way that they did her character, where the whole time you're getting like inner monologue from her, like a la Scrubs.
I've seen those scenes.
They're
okay.
But it bugged me that like her mouth didn't move. But then I realized it's just like inner monologue.
Yeah, it's her talking to herself. And it's weird in a video game.
That would be odd.
Yeah, like
if she was standing there
just
talking to herself,
and everyone else looking at her like she
knows standing right here.
Yeah.
Well, no. Speaking of that,
it's weird that she's not super weird.
Speaking of like talking and like not noticing stuff, like it feels like whenever you're running around like the central executive, is that the main hub?
Yeah, the first like control
like
point.
Whenever you first get there and everything like that, you're walking by some of the NPCs and they're just like openly just like, I don't know how I feel about this new director, and they're just like, do they not know that I'm just like running by right now?
Well, I mean, it's typical office stuff, I guess, where it's you're walking, they're just hanging out doing their job, and they don't. It's that classic, like your manager was standing behind you.
Yeah, this shit's just a Wednesday for them at this point. You know what I mean? Like,
it's very true, because a lot of them are just like, did you hear Steve didn't make it out? Steve? Oh, that's so sad. I love Steve. Yeah, we kept telling him to put on his HR. Like it's stuff like that where it's like everyone here has been working at the bureau for a while. Like, some of them are like for decades. Like we find out that the bureau's been around since
Darling
like the 60s.
Had been there for like 24 years or something like that.
Yeah, and then even the previous director, he was like he took over for the guy that was the director before him.
Oh, what was that?
And he had worked under him since he was like
I forgot
20 or something. It's almost like a Men in Black kind of vibe, I would say, to like the structure of this organization.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and like people probably don't just retire, you know what I mean? Because
it's like
there's like crazy secrets going on.
I was gonna say
here.
they probably erase your fucking mind.
Yeah. And those vibes were incredible.
Yeah, it's like whenever Darling shows up again and he's just like, don't worry, the HRAs aren't a tracking and listening device.
We've been tracking and listening to you the whole time.
Exactly.
Like, this
we're
is nothing
doing
new.
that anyway.
Yeah.
But one other thing I want to go back to Darling about was like right at the end, the last time you go to the Oceanside Motel, that fucking music video that he's in.
Oh, incredible, dude.
I know.
That was another one of those moments that made me think
nowhere.
You really need to watch the show Legion. Like, I think if you watch Legion, that would be one of your like all-time favorites, because there's weird stuff like that in that show. And like immediately when that happened, I was like, oh my God. Especially all the ideas of the astral plane and stuff that they touch on with their with that show.
I mean, let's go on keeping going on with music. The fucking ashtray maze.
Yes.
Oh my God. That sequence was just so cool, because I wasn't expecting that. Like, because I remember just like exploring the game. Like I came across the ashtray maze before. And you know, whenever you go into the ashtray maze,
you go to him and he's like, oh, you need this tape player or something. Put these in your ears.
Exactly.
You'll be fine. And then,
that's like whenever you're supposed to go.
I wish there was more Ati, honestly. The janitor. I really wish
need
there
to
had
do
been
his
more
side missions.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because the end of his like line of side missions is like perfect. It's really
good. Because and they're weird as fuck. Because I remember I was playing a little bit this morning and it was like talk to the plants. You know, it was like
You literally, because again it's the Bureau of Control. The plants there because of this idea in human history that like speaking to plants gently and stuff helps them grow back.
Yeah.
Or like, you talk to your plant, have positive vibes around your plant and it'll flourish. And then sure enough, they've been dying because of all the hectic shit that's been going on in the bureau.
One's been talking
so Jesse
to him.
goes around and is like slowly starts
Hey,
getting used to the idea
how
of
you
being like, actually,
doing?
I
Yeah.
really enjoyed just taking a break and talking to the plants for a few minutes, and they all start like brightening up and everything. This game's incredible. I think I talked last week in my like quote unquote early impressions, but really I had beaten the game already. But this one I've been thinking about like since I put it down. And I think for me, it's jumped to like a 9 out of 10. Like,
Really?
And the only reason it doesn't get that full 10 is performance stuff and
Yeah,
like little
definitely.
bugs that I think they'll fix down the line.
Like, I feel
But I
so
can't say it's
bad
perfect.
for anyone that's playing this on any of the
On
lower
the base
end.
consoles,
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's-
But yeah, I loved it. I'm glad you've enjoyed it so much. I think it's worth going for the 100% in this one only because you'll kind of get there most of the way naturally, just doing the side missions.
yeah,
and all
I think.
that.
I mean, definitely.
And if you enjoyed going back to places
I
you've been
like
with
that
your new control cards and stuff to get into old like locked
exactly,
rooms
that's
and
what I'm
stuff.
going to go doing because I enjoyed the combat so much of it. I'm just going to be like, I'm going to vaporize you. I'm going to control your buddy. I'm going to lift this rock. I'm going to hit
Yeah.
you. And I'm going to.
Because by the end, once your launch ability is maxed and you're able to like catch rockets, and whereas before you might just be able to throw like fire extinguishers, now
Yeah.
you can grab like entire file cabinets and throw them at people, and just like
You
these
can
huge
damage
items.
the big guys enough to lift them and throw them at people. Yeah.
Like during the final area where you're in the place with all the satellite arrays and you're trying to save
Hedron.
Hedron, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I had my launch ability
So
maximized already.
Hedron and Polaris are the same thing, right?
Yeah, Hedron is just the physical thing,
Right.
And that's what they called it,
Right.
The Bureau.
mhm.
Whereas Polaris, like, presumably spoke to Jesse and
Yeah.
Dylan, like, because they're in her head,
Right.
and that's her actual name that she gives herself is Polaris.
Okay. And she still, I guess, has Polaris after Hedron goes down.
Yeah, because again, I think it was just a receptacle, like,
Right.
Like she might have had some sort of link to it still, but that like Polaris is still around after Hedron's broken or. It's not destroyed really,
yeah,
but
something
yeah.
like that. All right.
But in that area, you know, those big satellites, like I could throw those.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. Like those huge fucking
nice.
things. And so it was so great because there's so many flying. Like I had a lot of trouble fighting in that area.
I did too.
It was pretty hard.
I don't know about
I
you,
died like
but
6 or 7 times.
Oh, I did too,
Yeah.
man. I was gonna say I don't know how many times, but like the times I died, it was because Dash fell off the map.
I did that a couple times.
Dash
That's
fell
what's so
off the map.
frustrating.
I was
is
like, "Fuck!"
Sometimes I'm low on health, and other times it's like I feel like I'm in a groove, and then I dart away the wrong way and
The
fly off.
groove
and I'm
one
off.
is just the worst, where you're just like, yeah, just
This
one
is the time.
dumb
This is
move.
the
Yeah.
time, and then fly off the edge. You're like, well, levitate only slows down my descent. I'm still dead.
Never jump off the edge, guys.
Never jump off the edge. It's hard not to. Sometimes.
But yeah, Control definitely. I'd say like an 8 out of 5. Travis says a 9 out of 10. We highly recommend it. Pick it up.
Absolutely. Ethan will play it someday.
Did you say 8 out of 5?
8 out of 10.
I said 8.5 out of 10.
Oh,
Oh, there you go. That's pretty good.
that makes more sense.
How about some news? I had these in a different order before.
I don't know.
The fuck is
I'm
that?
trying to find something to do whenever you say the news.
But news.
No.
No, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm newsing it.
No.
Oh,
Oh wow, that was kind of like the McDad. I didn't even notice. Yeah.
So our first piece of news, Control's debug menu has been discovered, and it's been revealed that there's a possible DLC that might be focusing on a specific side character. Now, this is all unconfirmed, of course, because these are just people. This is just a dude who put up a thing on their YouTube video that he's been digging around in the game files on the PC version, as the super nerds like to do.
Yeah.
Data mining.
We
Yeah,
like
there
our
you go.
data
That's the word I
minings.
was looking for.
And
We love data miners.
among all these files, it's going through the file names of these different main story missions, and one of them is aptly titled ST01_MM_04_Start_Marshall_PS4_SM15_DLC. Now the DLC tag hints a bit at it being a DLC level of some sort that might be coming out eventually. And of
But
course,
you
Marshall,
assume that's going to come with bug fixes and stuff like that.
oh yeah, and I mean they put out a community update like pretty soon after Control launched. We're like, here's what we're doing, here's what we're not doing, because a lot of people were asking if Control was ever going to get HDR support. And
It's not.
They
Yeah.
had kind of thought about it, but because of their lighting engine and all the improvements they made, that it was looking like it would be hard to do. And
I was
that now
thinking about
they were
that,
like,
yeah.
our main priority is optimization for every platform and adding in the photo mode and a new game plus mode, and that like HDR is not something they're going to be adding
I
in a patch.
love a new game plus mode.
going back through the very start with all your abilities and shit. That'd be dope as hell.
Yeah.
But Marshall in the file name relates to a side character. Well, maybe a main character. I believe she was the head of the security department. The
Marshall.
the badass black woman.
Yeah. Because she just like straight up disappears at one point in the game. I think it's after mission 5
she
or
had
6.
security, so I mean, it'd be nice to have been tied up some of those ends and stuff. But you assume she's out there. They're all around her.
Tying
They still have to
loose ends
take
up
out
or
the rest of the
something.
hiss because the hiss
Exactly.
don't just disappear at the end of the game. So probably going to get a DLC for this, which makes sense. Well,
I mean, it's perfect. They can open up another part of the office. It's never been,
yeah. I mean, it'd be easy enough to add another level, and this is one of those games too. I wouldn't even mind if it was just boss rush stuff or like a horde mode with against hiss or like survival.
Exactly.
I would play the hell out of that. Like
For
the
sure,
combat's
because,
just
yeah.
so fun.
Well, that hopefully, I mean, as long as that comes with, the bug fixes and everything, because again, a big thing with Control is like the optimization of it. Like I remember sometimes if I like shot like a grill at someone, it would hit like four or five enemies and like the explosion, just frame rate would go boom, like just tank.
Yeah, well, I don't know, because sometimes it wasn't just an explosion that would trigger it. Like the stuff with the frame rate, the drops didn't come in the places you would always expect it to.
You're right.
So,
But I guess the thing for me, the most prevalent was during in those moments of the heated combat. That is fucking unnerving. Don't do that.
what are you doing over there?
He's fucking playing footsie with me. All I'm doing is I'm having a conversation with you, and you just get this warm
accidentally
Hobbit foot on
stepped
top
his
of me.
foot, so he pulled it away, and then I pulled mine away. But I saw him put his back, so I took my foot off, and then I put it on top of his.
It was so uncomfortable.
Sorry, buddy. I cut you off there too. So you were talking about Control.
It's fine.
We're
No,
done talking about
okay.
Control.
Yeah,
That
we're
was
done.
it. Possible DLC coming. Look out for that. Next up, Celeste's developers have opened a new studio named Extremely OK Games, and they announced the final free update to Celeste.
It's a good name.
Apparently, this new Sorry, you're gonna go ahead and read the story.
Am I?
I didn't mean. I didn't
Meet our
mean to
new
interrupt
game
your flow.
studio, Extremely OK Games,
a
or
great name.
EXOK for short,
Oh,
is the new
no,
home
that's
for our. But it looks cool in a logo.
Does it?
Is
Yeah.
the new home for our
Okay.
creative projects. The success of Celeste has allowed us to set up a lot of things that will make our work faster,
pull that
better,
shit up.
easier, and more fun. Most importantly, we were able to import our team. So everybody from the old team or old studio is joining them. They used to work remotely. Now they get to work in a nice, cozy little space on the third floor of a small building in Vancouver.
That does look good on the logo. Yeah.
Yeah. It feels almost like a con logo.
I like it a lot.
It's
Yeah.
logo.
great though. Yeah. Shout outs to who did that?
I would buy that
Scroll down a little bit.
on a t-shirt. Big time.
Corey Schmitz.
Oh yeah! Shout out to Corey.
Great design there.
Yeah, so this also means that they're retiring Matt Makes Games, which was basically a two-man studio that they were releasing their previous games under. The post on their website just talks a little bit about what that means for how they'll be releasing things, what logos are going to be on things, small things that like when you change companies, people have these questions. But other than that, we're also getting, well, I think it's out already actually.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, so Celeste got another free update, which is titled Chapter 9
Yeah,
Farewell.
we'll release on September 9th.
Yeah. Oh, so today.
Yeah.
As of recording. So by the time you hear this, you got more free content in Celeste if you've played it. If you haven't played it, what are you doing? It's on Xbox Game Pass. It's super cheap
this
to buy.
fool
It's
to
really
my
fucking
left
good.
over here who could totally get it and play
Ethan
it for
doesn't
free.
play games. I don't know why we have him on this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. What is he even doing here?
I play.
Please leave my apartment.
I play a ton of games. Both of you get out of my podcast.
No, but apparently, yeah, this new Chapter 9 DLC apparently adds like 100 new levels to Celeste or
It
something like
does.
that.
Saying goodbye is never easy. Finding the right way to send off the characters and the world of Celeste was especially difficult for us, but we're excited about what this chapter became. God damn, the White Claw, no law, man. Here's some details. Chapter 9 is coming out on September 9th for free on all platforms. It contains 100 plus new levels, bringing the game's total to over 800.
It's fucking nuts.
Over 40 minutes of new music from Lena Raine, which is awesome
I
because the
know.
soundtrack's real fucking
She
good.
fucking killed it. Did she win a Game Awards last year
I think
for
she
that?
did. They were nominated for a bunch of sound design and music and stuff, and I think they did actually win
Good
one
for her.
soundtrack.
Good for them.
There's several brand new mechanics and items to discover and play with. Reconnect with beloved characters for a final goodbye. This chapter doesn't have a B or C side, and to unlock it, you simply complete Chapter 8. And then they reiterated that they will be releasing Celeste physically through limited run games.
That's cool.
So now that
grab
that's out, now that Chapter 9 is out and it's all done, they're going into production on that. So you can
I kind of want a physical copy of
I
that.
do too.
Physical releases are always cool.
I don't technically own it for PS4, so I'd buy it there because I have it on Xbox, I have it on Switch, but I would buy
it for me. And
Yeah,
I'll
I
play
think I might get a
Buy it for me
PlayStation
and
4
I'll-
copy.
and I'll
That's a
play
lie.
it.
Finish
and
Yakuza.
I'll play it. No.
And
I still need to finish Yakuza. Well, now that I played Control, I think I'm going to put my next. That's where I'm going to put my next big time in. is
Yakuza. Yeah. There's another big game coming out soon, though, I thought.
Borderlands is coming out soon.
No, I don't care about Borderlands.
That's what
we'll
I
talk a little bit about Borderlands, but I don't really care about Borderlands. What am I thinking? Oh, Link's Awakening. That's the only really big one until
I'm actually really
till
looking forward to
October.
that.
Or I think, or till
I'm pretty
mid-October.
stoked about
Played
that.
it, beat it. Good.
Next up, speaking of Borderlands, Borderlands 3 will be getting preloading support on Epic Game Store after all. So this was announced a little while ago that the roadmap for features for for Epic Game Store has been kind of loose. They actually just recently got rid of their entire roadmap because they'd missed all of the deadlines that they gave themselves.
Oh, really?
Good job. And now they're just like, we're just not going to promise anything anymore. This refers to like cloud saves, which only a couple games have, but then one or two of them got revoked and blah, blah, blah. There had been some news that preloading would not be available by the time Borderlands 3 came out, which kind of sucks because it's a big, popular game. If you can download it earlier,
It's
that
better
kind of
than
frees
having
up
to
the
wait with
servers
everyone else.
from
Yeah.
everyone click and go at the same time and downloading it. Now it turns out that they will have preload support for some games, and Borderlands 3 is going to be the first one. So there you go. You'll be able to
Cool.
download the game 48 hours before its official launch on September 13th. Or when you hear this podcast, you can just download it anyway because it's out. But yeah, that's good. More features is good. I don't know. I mean,
Well, it's gonna take the Epic Store time to get all those features out and everything. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, what? It hasn't even really been out for a year.
no, not yet.
Yeah,
And it is. I mean, it's just nice too that like, yeah, this was really the big game that a lot of people were like, if it's not ready for that, then what's going on over there? Because they're clear. Again, they got money hand over fist. They have a huge team of software developers. And at this point, because we talked a few weeks ago where it's like I was just like, give them time. There's still like a lot of small things they could be fixing, and it looks like there's nothing major going on just to us. Like on our side, like what we see, there's not a whole lot happening with that storefront as far as feature improvements. Like they still don't have a shopping cart. Like you have to, if you want to buy more than one thing, you have to check out for each thing individually, which then fucks up with some people's like credit card companies because they just see like 4 purchases from this website. That might be fraudulent.
Yeah,
Let's
they're like,
work
we're gonna
on
put a
that.
hold on your credit card, and you're like, sir, did you buy this? Did you buy this? Did you buy this? And you're
Yeah,
like,
so more features is good. I hope they speed it up a little bit.
yeah.
And that's good news for the Borderlands people. Yep. Next up, Cyberpunk 2077 is getting a post-launch multiplayer game mode. CD Projekt Red has announced on Twitter. In June 2018, during an interview with Eurogamer, CDPR Quest designer Patrick Mills said, "We have a multiplayer in R&D, but the game we're shipping to you, the game you're going to buy, is the single-player experience. That's really what we're down." Wait, that's sorry. I've got you guys in my peripheral
sorry.
vision over here, clicking through tabs. This one's all in the doc. This is not a source news story.
See, Ethan was giving me
I
shit.
wrote
He was
this
just
one
like,
up
go to
myself.
the page, go to the page. And I'm like,
This is our official first breaking news story written in house, I guess you could say. I don't know what you want to call it.
Breaking
Anyway,
news.
breaking
you even
news
mentioned-
a few days ago.
Just
you
broke.
even mentioned that in the
Yep, I
Slack
did.
now. Fuck, I feel like an asshole.
That's really what we're concentrating on now, the single player RPG experience. That's what we want to nail down before we start looking at any of these other things, end quote. CDPR later announced in October 2018 that they would be embarking on a long-term development partnership with Vancouver-based studio Digital Scapes, which has worked on projects such as Prototype, Dying Light, and Warhammer 40,000. It appears that development has gone well, as the aforementioned tweet confirms the multiplayer mode will now be a reality. Quote, "Until now, the only thing we said about multiplayer was that it was in R&D. As we're getting closer to launch for the single player Cyberpunk 2077 in April of 2020, we'd like to confirm that multiplayer is in the works. The plan for now is to deliver Cyberpunk 2077 in April, then follow up with the free DLCs and single player content. And once we're done, invite you for some multiplayer action." So this is kind of a surprise. Full-blown in-house developed multiplayer mode. Well, in-house insofar as the Digital Scapes is collaborating, but
What do you think the multiplayer is going to be?
I don't know. I mean, part of me hopes it's almost like a GTA Online style thing where you're thrown into the same world and now it's instanced and there's maybe another 11 to 23 people in there for 24 or 12 players total. And you're just all in there doing multiplayer style missions. I could see certain, literally anything you can do in GT Online minus some of the wackier stuff. Like heists would be interesting.
That's true. I mean, you could get away with it in this kind of universe that they're building.
Yeah.
Go to a sex robot club.
Sex bots. I run my own club. Charge top
One
dollar.
of your missions could just be like one of our convoy trucks full of robot vaginas got hijacked. We need you to get it back.
Vaginas.
Yeah, and something I read as far as, you got so many people analyzing every single trailer and blah, blah, blah. And it did come out that one of the things that weren't going to be in the final build was like your apartment and that whole apartment complex that you see in like one of the beginning or one of the first trailers.
Yeah, it was like the very first like big reveal.
Yeah, because like you have your own space that you're supposed to be able to customize and all that stuff. Apparently that's not in it anymore. I could see something like that making it into the multiplayer because then it makes sense to have like your own personal space to like separate from everyone else. Like maybe that apartment complex becomes like the hub and everybody has their own spot or whatever. But yeah, as far as what it entails, I have no idea. The only thing that CDPR has ever done that was multiplayer is Gwent. So,
see, I was thinking more like it could be like a story-based thing, like where you could do the story missions together or something like that.
Like just co-op style?
Yeah.
Could be, because from what we've seen, a lot of times the mission does seem to be like you've got a buddy with you.
Yeah.
And from what I've read about like Keanu Reeves' character's involvement is that he's like for most of the game, like he's your go-to guy. Like he's there for a lot of the story.
I remember watching the last gameplay demo that they did was that they were saying that Johnny Silverhand, Keanu Reeves' character, isn't actual.
Stupid name.
That is a great name for the universe that they're building.
Name.
Fuck off. That's
His
awesome.
hand is silver.
You fuck off. That's a stupid ass name.
But is that he's in your head. He's not a real person.
Holy shit.
Oh. So I guess no one's going to be playing him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So I have no idea what this means. It's cool. I like that they brought on someone who knows what they're doing, and I think it's good news that they're not trying to shoehorn it in for launch, because this is a big game to just decide. Oh, actually, it's gonna have multiplayer too. So
yeah, for sure. It's good that they're putting a little more extra time in it. Hopefully, don't crunch your employees or anything. But yeah, I hope it's gonna be awesome when it comes out.
Yep. I do too. And Ethan, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to talk about Assassin's Creed for a moment. Do I have your permission? Can I get this cleared with the board?
I think the people have heard you talk about Assassin's Creed enough.
Maybe not enough yet, because Assassin's Creed Odyssey is getting a Discovery Tour add-on, which I'm very excited for.
Well, that's cool. I did that for Origins, and I enjoyed that.
Piece of shit.
I actually 100%ed that.
It's coming out tomorrow.
That's cool, actually.
And will be free to download, so it'll be on your console tomorrow, or by the time you hear this podcast, if you own the game.
Did you ever look into that for Origins when it came out?
I didn't do all the all the trophies for it, but I did. I played around with it a bit.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very neat. Yeah. Similar to Assassin's Creed Origins, the new mode lets you explore ancient Greece without being interrupted by combat or quests. Ubisoft says it's purely educational, and the mode is a virtual museum without threats, but instead with guided tours and historical sites to discover. The mode is also available as a standalone $19.99 purchase on both Steam and Uplay. However, it is only available on console editions if you own the base game. So the way the discovery mode works is it's a mode in the game that you launch, and you're kind of like, it says, put in a virtual museum. It loads you into an area. You can go from city to city. You can pick which character you like from the various in the game that you want to be like your tour guide. And then it just walks you around. Like you go, it gives you little objective markers.
Little missions, but when you walk over them, they just kind of,
it just tells you about these things.
Starts the tour. Yeah.
In the one for Origins, it had a lot of stuff where it was like, you pick up like an artifact, you go to an area, and it would show you like, here's the like real life objects that we used as reference for this, or here's like it's literally like taking a virtual history class.
Really cool,
and it's super entertaining. Yeah, and I definitely will dive into this one because I've told you guys before. I mean, ancient Egypt is one of my favorite like time periods and locales and stuff anyway, so that gripped me a lot with Origins. But then Greek mythology is super fucking interesting to me, and this is going to cover plenty of that. And I'm hoping too that because of the way that the DLC worked in this one, that maybe this virtual museum actually lets you do the stuff in like Pandora and Elysium and just like the other DLC things. Sorry, everyone's looking at me with a blank face.
'Cause that
the
wasn't
stuff from the
not a real
Atlantis
place.
ones. It's not a real place, but there's still stories where like these things came from.
Maybe.
And a lot of the assets and stuff are still things where it's like, oh, well, how did we know what we thought Elysium would look like? Well, here's the stories we have. Here's the monuments that people had bought, like built.
I would be interested to take that tour.
It would be a fun tour. Let me see Assassin's Creed. We probably won't talk about Assassin's Creed for a while. I really don't feel like we talked about it a
Fucking
whole lot.
liar.
I think Ethan just this is one of his Ethan things.
He's just being sensitive.
Now
Assassin's Creed? What?
we got a lot of new game announcements. Nintendo had a direct this past week. Lots of stuff got dropped. We're just going to go down the list quickly, but if anything comes to mind about any particular game, feel free to jump in, boys. First off on the list, Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast
Dope.
is coming to PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch on September 24th.
This one.
This one.
Talk about this one.
This is the good one.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. This is one of those ones where
the next one is the really exciting
I never
one.
played Jedi Academy, so that one I'm excited for because I don't know which one it is necessarily.
It's the one
sequel
after
to Jedi Outcast.
Yeah, this one Kyle Katarn's like a full
Because
out.
Outcast was the one that was on.
It was
on
mainly on
Xbox,
PC.
PC.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. What am I thinking of?
The first Xbox, anyway.
But Jedi
yeah, Star
Academy
Wars-
is dope, and the multiplayer is fucking so much fun.
Cool.
Yeah, so spoilers for the news. But yeah, Star Wars Jedi Academy is also coming to PS4 and Switch, but not till next year. It'll be
next
early
year.
2020, and this one actually includes full multiplayer support. So
Yes.
Jedi Outcast also had multiplayer, but that part is not coming. It's just going to be the single player campaign. But Academy is getting
fine.
multiplayer
I
support.
think I might
retained.
actually get it on the Switch because playing like mobile multiplayer matches would be a lot of fun. Like
It's only going to be fun if it's crossplay because I'm going to be getting it on PS4 for sure. I hope it's crossplay. That'd be really cool.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I'll probably get it on PS4 then.
Crystal
yeah.
Chronicles.
Damn
is
right.
crossplay.
I can't wait. I played the
Cross
shit
save.
out of Jedi
I mean, if
Academy.
you're
dude.
if you're gonna get it on PS4, yeah, I'd love to play multiplayer.
I can't wait to
with-
jump
yeah,
into
for
that.
sure.
Yeah, both those games are really cool. If you haven't seen those before, check them out. This is like one of the last, I would say before like Knights of the Old Republic, which also those two games are really good. This is like the last set of like good, like really good Star Wars games. Next up, we got Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition is coming to Switch sometime in 2020 and appears to be a remake of the Wii game in Xenoblade Chronicle 2's engine. So this is not just a straight up-resed port of the Wii code. Like there's
This is a completely from ground up.
yeah, they put out a full trailer. There are already tons of image comparisons and stuff out there that are showing like the models are higher quality. Where the grass used to look like muddy little drawn textures, they're modeled now. Like a huge increase in graphical fidelity, and Chronicles is still considered the best in that whole series. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, it's because Chronicles 2 I did not enjoy.
I'm betting that one's going to be probably like $50 when it comes out. I hope it's not a full 60, but it's Nintendo, so who the fuck would, I don't know. I was going to say
Nintendo would
something,
know.
but yeah, Nintendo would know. Yeah, they know. They already know. They know they're charging 60 for that thing. Overwatch
fucking know.
launches on Switch on October 15th. Finally.
It's
Not surprising.
on Switch.
It's not on Switch. They actually said like a year or two ago that
they weren't gonna do
They
it.
weren't going to do it, and there were no plans. That lion sack of shit. What's that guy's name?
Jeff Kaplan.
Jeff,
You sack of shit, money
Yes.
bags, Kaplan.
you played us like a goddamn fiddle. It's coming out for only $39.99 though, so not
That's
bad.
not surprising.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition is out now on Nintendo Switch and includes cross-save support with Steam.
That I'm really surprised about.
That's super fucking cool.
Yeah.
And that is a great way to get people buying that. It's such a huge game that you could presumably still be on your first playthrough on PC from when this came out
Really?
and still look and be like, oh shit, if I could play this on the ride to work now, if I could like squeeze another 20 hours portable, another 50, like this is a long fucking RPG and it's so fun.
I thought about playing it. Like
this game's incredible.
Came out. Yeah,
And with it
just
coming to
seemed like
Switch,
it just seemed like way more super in depth RPG than I'm used to. But
it's as in depth as you want it to be because you could breeze through it and like it's one of those games where you can fuck yourself on character builds if you don't know what you're like if you're
Doing.
not paying attention and stuff.
Yeah.
But from what I recall, outside of the 2 hardest difficulties, at any time you can change difficulty up or down.
Right.
So if you needed to put it on like easy or something,
You could.
You can.
Yeah.
And a lot of people play it on the easy modes anyway, because this is one as well that has like 4-player co-op.
Yeah.
And some of it is like kind of designed where it's like, unless you're like doing really well with your character build and are able to juggle all these characters, it's easier to have like 2 other friends that are really good with the thief or really good with the mage, so that you don't have to learn like 4 distinct character builds
And how to play them all at the same time.
Yeah, because this is one that is very like Dungeon and Dragon styled as far as the stats and how your character stories are.
Yeah,
built
that
and
was
all
the
stuff.
thing that was kind of pulling me away from it. But yeah.
But yeah, that's badass, and I think that's one of the first games that has cross save support with Steam like that. So that's pretty impressive, and that's something they had to have done on the back end. Like they couldn't have. Like,
Does
Steam's
Rocket
not
League
helping
not?
with that. Well, I mean, that's a full blown. That's cross platform cross save for everyone.
Okay.
Like this was not an announcement that like PS4 and Xbox One, which also have Divinity 2 on there,
right, okay.
are also getting cross save. So they went out of their way to make sure this was ready for the Switch version at launch. Next up, Doom 64, which we talked about not long ago, has officially been revealed and announced for release on Switch on November 22nd. And currently, as of today, I looked earlier and I didn't see anything. Switch is the only platform it's been announced for. So the ratings board in Australia and PEGI, which is the European ratings board, have both rated this game for PC and PS4 as well. But we did not get a platform announcement for that. So as of now, it only is coming to Switch. I doubt it's going to stay like that forever. It is possible that we maybe end up getting a port. I looked into this a little. So a sequel to Doom 64 was supposed to release on, I believe it was either PlayStation or PS2 and the original Xbox that got canned. It never saw the light of day, but it was like Doom Outlast or I'm probably butchering that name, but it had like a trademark and everything, and supposedly it was going to have all of Doom 64 and then a sequel campaign, but that never came out. So it could be that like Doom 64 hasn't officially been announced just because the 64 part implies Nintendo. I don't know if any of the big like Nintendo, like are there any games out there that had like a game that came out as such and such 64 and then made it to other platforms with that name that y'all can think of? Because a lot of them were just first party titles anyway, but
Mario
never got
64.
never got Superman 64 on a PS2.
Nope.
Like a remaster of that beauty.
Did Conker's Bad Fur? Oh, that was
It didn't have 64 in the name.
64 in the name.
64,
Yeah, you're right.
And then none of the Banjo games, because those are all rare, but those are on Xbox now anyway. Yeah, I don't know. So who knows? I hope it comes to PS4 because I'm not buying a fucking Switch.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it. Not doing it, Bethesda. Next, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag and Assassin's Creed Rogue.
Damn, what did you just say? We weren't going to talk
coming
about
to
Assassin's
Switch
Creed.
in the Rebel Collection on December 6th. So probably going to be a similar fidelity port to Assassin's Creed 3 and Liberation, which came to Switch as well not long ago. I'm kind of surprised these are running on there. Those are the big open world ones.
Deception.
Well, I wonder how the frame rates are because I remember when Assassin's Creed got
3 didn't run great from what we saw. That's what I'm saying. Like the fidelity, and it was already like lower res than like
it looked like horseshit.
the PS3 version, I think.
But now they have the remaster, and it's fine.
Well, these don't have the remaster.
Oh, I know.
Tag.
I'm just saying 3 specifically.
That's the thing is because when 3's remaster came out on 360 and PS4 or on Xbox One and PS4, it says Assassin's Creed 3 remastered, Liberation HD remastered, and on Switch it just says Assassin's Creed 3. That's it. Next up, this one was kind of cool. I'm pretty excited about this, and we got a little addendum that got added on at the end. That, in case y'all read this earlier in the week, what do they call that? Reading ahead in class. Who am I kidding? We don't have anybody reading ahead over here. Dragon Quest 1, Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 are coming to the Nintendo eShop for the Switch in Japan on September 27th, alongside the release of Dragon Quest 11S, Echoes of the Elusive Age Definitive Edition. That's a name. That's a name for a game right there. These releases appear to be ports of the mobile editions, which were ports of the Super Nintendo versions. They're missing some content and don't have enemy animations, but they did announce that this release was going to include the English localization in the Japanese eShop versions, which hints that this may be making it to the West sooner rather than later. So that's cool. Those early Dragon Quest games are up there with like the Super Nintendo Final Fantasy titles as far as like being pretty damn good RPGs.
Yeah, I remember. Well, I played Dragon Quest 1 and 2 originally on Game Boy because there was
The
1 and 2
Game
got
Boy
released.
Advanced or Game Boy.
Game Boy.
Okay, because I did read some people saying that it was almost better to play the Game Boy versions than these ports.
Or maybe it was Game Boy Color or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it
Yeah.
definitely wasn't advanced yet.
Interesting.
But god damn it, I want the special edition on PlayStation 4.
Oh, no.
God damn it,
Just
Nintendo.
make it DLC.
That's all I want.
Just make it DLC.
It makes no sense that
I want to play the sweet retro graphics version.
Same
and then
here.
Hop back and forth. Ethan,
Nintendo.
I know you don't play games. I'm sorry this is so boring.
Why
for
do
you.
you keep saying that?
keep
I literally played games all day today.
I've never heard of Dragon Quest before.
I have two. It's just not one of my games.
Nintendo Online is getting a bunch of Super Nintendo games to go on alongside your NES library.
Guy that did
And
Dragon Ball.
a new $30 SNES controller for Switch is coming too.
Neat.
Drew, did you play any of these yet?
Yeah, I'm on like halfway through World 3 of Super Mario World.
Nice.
Kirby's Dream Land.
Yeah, we got a full list actually. Hold on. Let me go through the full list and then I'll come back to that question. So the games that have been announced already, these are online. If you subscribe to Nintendo Switch Online, that service that's like $30 a year or something like that.
$20 a year. I
$20
think.
Jeez, $20
Where's your
a year.
Switch, Drew?
Brawl Brothers, Breath
my
of
backup.
Fire, Demon's Crest, F-Zero, Joe and Mac 2, Lost in the Tropics, Kirby's Dream Course, Kirby's Dream Land 3, Pilot Wings, fuck yeah, Star Fox,
Dude,
Stunt
Star
Race
Fox.
FX, Super EDF Earth Defense Force, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario Kart,
Fuck yeah, Super Ghouls
Mario
and Ghosts.
World, Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, Super Metroid, Super Puyo Puyo 2, Super Soccer, Super Tennis, and The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Those are all on Nintendo Switch Online today at no extra cost, but it comes with a caveat.
Yeah, what's this? Yeah, this next
what's
fucking
the
story.
what?
I haven't heard about
New
this.
NES and SNES online games will no longer be released monthly.
What the fuck is this horse shit?
What is that? I don't get it.
This is from Vooks.net by Oliver Brandt.
Switch is dumb. I don't get it.
During yesterday's Nintendo Direct, Super Nintendo games were finally revealed to be coming to the Nintendo Switch as part of the Nintendo Switch Online service. NES games have previously been released every month on the service, but it looks like that's about to change. A post on Nintendo's website in Japan has revealed that both NES and SNES games will no longer be releasing monthly, instead releasing irregularly from here on out. New games are said to be coming to both services in the future, however. We contacted Nintendo to see if this would affect us here, and they confirmed it was saying that more games, quote, will be added after launch, but those releases will not adhere to a regular schedule. The gradual release of NES games over the Nintendo Switch Online service has been somewhat of a sticking point for fans, with some frustrated at the drip-fed nature of the releases, and some annoyed that certain regions have received less or different games in some months. It remains to be seen how often games will be added to the service in the future, and if there's likely to be any major differences between regions.
Are these the first SNES games? Is from
Yeah,
what
these
I'm-
are the first
Yes.
SNES
Oh,
games to
okay.
be released.
From what I'm gathering, that's cool.
There's
I
only
didn't-
been original Nintendo software.
I
up to
did
this
not.
point.
I had not realized that. I mean, those are some big boys. Those games.
They are. I mean, this is likely going to keep people happy for quite some time.
Yeah, for a few months for
Till
sure.
the next.
There's some big heavy
rollout,
hitters.
Maybe.
Hopefully, yeah. But the thing is the next rollout will not be another 20 some odd games. It's
Sure.
going to be 1 to 2 games like at that time. I'm about to say a month, not a month.
Are they still going to be free? We assume.
Well, they're
no,
part
they
of
are
Nintendo
if you have the
Switch
online membership.
Then just cry about it. Like what? I don't
We are crying
I don't
about it.
understand. This seems fine to me.
Where's my Chrono Trigger?
Okay.
Where's my Final Fantasy IV? There's some big games.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
They're going to come out a lot slower now. No Donkey Kong? This entire fucking list? No Donkey Kong? Come on.
Donkey Kong Country.
Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
Country.
Country.
Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
And plus, Nintendo has the worst track listing with this. This is the same problem with the eShop on like the Wii U, and 3DS. They just release stuff whenever the fuck they feel like it, even though they're just repackaged ROMs.
Yep.
Like they're all sitting there on servers. Give us the games. Let's pay for the games. I'll pay for the games. That's why I hate Nintendo so much. They won't let me buy their games.
That's all I want.
That's all I
Just
want
buy
to
your
do is
games.
give you money, and you tell me, no, sir, I don't want that money. I say, well, suck it.
I'd rather have the integrity.
Integrity firms.
Integrity.
But boys, that was our last piece of news.
That's the news.
Now, our main topic for today. We haven't had one in a long time. Well, it's been like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Kind of had one, didn't we?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I think it's been like 2 weeks. Dreamcast today in the U.S. That's the Halo sound. That was on Xbox.
It wasn't.
It sounded like the Halo sound to me.
Yeah, because it's like a choir. What do you mean? Of course it sounds like
Yeah,
that's the Halo song.
So good.
Keep it moving along.
On September 9th, 1999, the Sega Dreamcast released in the United States of America.
20 years
Happy
ago.
birthday.
20 years ago today. Yep.
Man.
As I wrote here, easiest fucking release date ever to remember. They made such a big deal about that in the marketing campaigns
Really,
too.
999.
I saw some like old commercials for it today. They were hyping the hell out of the Dreamcast.
Quad
makes
nines.
sense, yeah.
That's because everybody thought the world was going to end the next year.
Oh my
No,
god.
I thought by that point we had already decided that it was going to be 2001.
What was the release date?
That was
don't
going to be
remember.
the real fuck up.
I don't remember.
This makes me wonder when the release date of Wing Commander was compared to like when
we
Dreamcast
can
came out.
get to that
Yeah,
eventually. Yeah.
We'll get
Come
there.
around to that.
If Ethan did his job, he's got that written down
Which
somewhere.
I didn't because Wikipedia does my job.
You know what?
For
You don't get to
me.
eat that peanut butter jelly sandwich till you write up all the stuff for the movie.
It's on Wikipedia.
Notable
I've
releases of the
realized
time
it's all on the sidebar.
include Shenmue, Phantasy Star Online, Resident Evil Code Veronica, Jet Set Radio,
Oh, was Code Veronica originally a Dreamcast title?
Yes. There was
Crazy
a lot
Taxi,
of them that were actually.
and Power
Crazy
Stone.
Dude, those last
Power
three
Stone.
and Phantasy Star Online, I played those. Those are all great games.
Absolutely.
Along with some other stuff, but they weren't released titles, obviously.
Yeah, I was looking at the launch lineup for the Dreamcast. Surprisingly solid.
Was it?
yeah.
Crazy Taxi was one of them.
Yeah, released.
Sonic
They had
Adventure.
good-
Sonic Adventure
They
was
had
one.
good stuff for release because they wanted to make sure it was bought with a game that you were gonna play.
Oh yeah, they did their best to blow it out. Like
Sonic
they knew,
Adventure.
They knew PS2 was coming around the corner.
I bought the.
Wasn't
I think I
Dreamcast
bought
the
the
first-
bundle for that one. Like my mom did.
Wasn't Dreamcast the first home console to let you play online?
It was. Dreamcast was the first console to release with a modem.
Yeah, it had a little-
allowing internet connectivity
It had a
out
port.
of the box.
It had a
did. It had a
dial-up thing in the
dial-up
back.
port.
I remember-
And eventually, later on in the life, you could pop that sucker out, plug in a broadband one.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
They only did that because they knew that the PS2 was coming with a broadband
Broadband
LAN.
connection,
So
yeah.
funny thing, the reason I got a Dreamcast is because I was. I mean, I'm not underprivileged or whatever, but the PS2 at release was a little expensive.
It was twice the price.
Yes.
By the time
Was
PlayStation
it
2 came out,
really?
it launched at $299,
This
and Dreamcast had already dropped down to $149.
this was a cheap alternative.
because Sega cut it because they knew how
Great
expensive
games.
it was.
I was never did I question.
That was their big plan.
Not
They were like,
having
PS2's coming, but we've got some word about that it's hard to develop for, and the software's not coming along great. We've already got a great launch lineup of titles. Oh, did I say Soul Calibur in that list?
no,
Oh,
but
was
yeah,
Soul Calibur
was a launch
the
title.
Was
original
there-
one. Yeah,
Was it Soul Calibur or Soul Edge?
Soul Calibur.
no Soul
Okay.
Calibur. Soul Edge was
Soul Edge was
for
before. It was on
Genesis-
Saturn.
Saturn.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sega Saturn, and I think it also might have gotten ported to PlayStation 1. Yeah, that was their big thing because they were like, we have a ton of. There's a
also-
famous quote from the president of Sega America at the time where there was like, the Dreamcast exists now. Everyone was like, are you guys worried about the PS2? Are you worried about the Dreamcast or the PS2? Like, the Dreamcast is out.
We don't deal in.
We have great games on shelves today. Like, you can go get it right now.
That's a
and
great
play it.
sell. Like it really is.
And yeah, when it was $200 and then they did the price drop just before they announced how much the PS2 was going to cost.
So I probably got mine for $200 with like a game or something that came with it, or I don't
Yeah.
remember. But I got a PS2 when the price dropped later, and yada yada yada. I loved my Dreamcast.
Some other great games
Loved my Dreamcast
that came out for I believe were Dreamcast exclusives were Jet Set Radio Future
Jet Set Radio Future was an Xbox game.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
or
a-
was it
that
just
was
Jet
a
Set
sequel.
Radio?
Yeah, that was a sequel. No, Jet Set Radio.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, that's
Jet
on
Set
here.
Radio.
Yeah, that's on here,
And
though.
I believe wasn't Marvel vs. Capcom 2, wasn't that a
Yep.
Dreamcast game as well?
It came out on PS2 as well, but the Dreamcast version was way better.
A great
Yes.
RPG.
It was clearly like a poor port on the PS2.
a great RPG for the Dreamcast, Evolution. Do you remember
Yes.
that? It had that weird.
I played the shit out of
claw
Evolution, yeah.
backpack.
I love that
thing.
game. I
Yeah.
replayed that like
shit
5
was
years ago
awesome.
when I bought
Yeah.
a hand-me-down Dreamcast and replayed Evolution.
I think I remember we talked about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I loved that game.
That was a cool game.
Never got around to the sequel, but the first one was really cool.
I just remember. I just thinking back to Mega Man 64 because they look like the models.
Oh
kinda
yeah,
similar.
I would not be shocked if they had similar, if like the character design
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
same because the artwork's
But-
that similar.
Yeah, man. There was a Gundam game that it was like an old mobile suit Gundam style,
Yeah.
like the no color, flashy blue and red and shit. Like it was like the gray Gundams, and it was very military, and you were in the cockpit view. It was full screen cockpit view.
Really?
It was so cool.
Wow, for a Dreamcast
and it
game?
had the beam saber, like the pink.
What?
you told me all about
First-person
that, and
Beam
I-
Saber Gundam
It
game?
was
I forgot all about that.
That's fucking
cool.
dope.
Yes, it was.
That is
awesome.
wicked.
It was like the what was the original enemy in Gundam suit? Zeon.
Zeku or something like
Something like yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Like those were the enemies, and it was just old school Gundam stuff. Awesome game. Great memories. Like you said, Power Stone 2. Come on,
Yeah,
Sonic Adventure 2. Battle
Oh,
Royale.
you
want
want
to
to know one of the things that really like it seems
Battle
like
Royale was the GameCube port.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah.
it seems like kind of stupid now, but like I remember because the Dreamcast controller.
Nothing
it's
wrong
weird.
with it.
It's weird as fuck.
Nothing wrong with it. You got a Tamagotchi with it.
That's
was-
what I'm saying. That was the point I
it
was
came
going
with a
towards.
And it was
Like,
totally the precursor to the Xbox Duke controller.
That's
Yeah,
yeah.
it
That's
really
all.
was.
Yes.
Big ass turtle
Yep.
shell in your
And
hand.
literally the only difference is two more little white and black buttons to make
Yeah.
it the 6-button
Yeah.
thing people were used to, and then the extra analog controller.
But yeah, your
But
memory card
that's a
was
fucking Dreamcast controller.
That's so cool. Yeah, because it was one of
It
the
was
first like
the
it
virtual
had like
memory unit.
it was removable. It had a cap to go on it.
Do you know
Well,
you could
yeah,
plug them
too.
together to transmit
Yes.
saves between the two?
Yeah, and like anytime you plugged it in with a compatible game, like the little LED screen would like show little animations from there and everything like that. I thought that whenever I saw that, shit blew my mind.
Yeah. There was a I can't
precursor
remember
to the
which
Wii
RPG.
Switch or the Wii. What is it? The Wii U. Sorry,
I think it
the
was
Wii Switch.
Grandia 2 maybe, but you could actually access your item inventory in the battle in the VMU.
Damn,
Oh,
that
that's
makes
neat.
sense.
So
Because you
instead
could
of
do
having
stuff
to,
with-
what was so cool
It
is
was
the game
doing
was so
Wii U shit
cinematic.
before Wii U.
So you didn't have to
That's what I
block
just said.
the inventory screen. Like you didn't have to block the
Yeah.
battle. You could use all that screen real estate still,
I think-
and then have the items on.
I think
your,
with
on your
Evolution, you
VMU.
could see like some of your stats or something.
Yeah.
maybe yeah. And then yeah, with the Sonic, you could do like Chow shit and
Oh,
take
yeah,
it,
the Chow
take it
games
with
stuff,
you.
yeah.
Like
I told you, man. I played
Man.
especially in 2. It was so much more in depth. I was growing chows like a
dude,
motherfucker.
Dreamcast
My guard
2
was dope.
Yeah, you get
Dreamcast
those
2
golden
wins,
chows, those black
Sega.
chows.
Come on.
Yeah.
Man, those are so cool. Another little tidbit on the online thing that I was going to go into was that I didn't know about this because probably something where it's like my parents were tearing this page out of my magazines before I could get to it because they didn't want to pay for this. But SegaNet was a service that Sega actually offered during the Dreamcast days, which was their own internet service provider for the Dreamcast. So you could sign up for this. They give you a disc, and it gave you access to an internet browser and an email client on your Dreamcast.
That's cool.
So the beginnings of like we didn't see this until the PS3 came out
Sega
with an
network?
internet browser. Yeah.
That's insane.
And they actually offered you low latency online play because this was a dial-up modem, but they had their basically if you were on their ISP, you got a direct route to their servers instead of having to dial to your
Yeah,
ISP.
so you were getting it quicker
Look
and,
for a
yeah.
server, dial it. Like you got it cut out a lot of the dial-up
Was
time
the-
to get into online games.
was the
See, it-
Dreamcast? Sorry, go ahead.
It doesn't surprise me that they would invest in something like that because in like what was their previous generation Genesis
Saturn.
Or Matt?
Saturn, yeah.
Or okay, well, I'm gonna in Genesis. I remember they had a thing called Sega TV. Do you remember
Yep.
this? Yeah. So like Sega TV, you would plug in like the old aux cable. Is that the right?
Engage.
Is that the right cable? Is that the
That's
right cable?
Nokia. Sega didn't make it engage.
No?
Yeah.
That was them. Sorry.
But I guess the Genesis had like
Sega did Game Gear.
an aux output, like so you would plug like your TV cable in the back of it, and like you would go, I believe, to a certain channel on your TV, and that it was like streaming games before
Probably
streaming
2 or
games was
3.
a thing.
Oh, that's right. I think we even talked about that on one of our.
I think that
it might have been the one we did the
gaming
gaming
history
history thing.
one.
Yeah. Because I want to say that in Japan, Nintendo had a similar service.
That's what I was going to ask. Did the Dreamcast release in Japan?
Yeah, it did.
This seems
about
like-
a year before. It released in '98.
This seems like something specifically that would be more
Suited to Japanese
suited
markets.
to Japanese with their network, their internet over there. This might be a little bit more, especially for
Well,
back then.
Everyone was using dial-up, even like wherever you were. So
sure, but there were
the way we think of it now is they're so much more interconnected there. Like there were still a lot of really popular online games here. Like Fantasy Star
sure.
Online was hugely popular in the US.
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to mention about was I remember one of the early sets I remember seeing in like a gaming magazine was for Fantasy Star Online. And I think I mentioned
You
this.
told me you said something about a dragon, and then the story didn't go anywhere. Let me tell you all about Quake 3 Arena.
Okay, fine.
I played
Ruin my
Quake
story.
3 Arena on Dreamcast
Oh, really?
because I had it on my Dreamcast,
But you also
and I
had it on
also
your
had it on
phone.
PC.
Yeah.
And so friends could come over, and this was the beginning of cross-platform
Really?
play.
So you could play on your Dreamcast and you can play
One
on
of
your
us
PC.
would be on the PC, one of us on the Dreamcast, and it was so crazy because you could even play like the modded maps and stuff. So like on PC, I think I've told y'all before, where if you go to a game server and it's like a map you didn't have, or someone was running around as Goku as like a character model, if you whatever you didn't have, it would just download. But so the maps were so small back then. And there was just enough RAM where it's like they had an upper limit where if it was too crazy, you
need
couldn't
more
download on
RAM.
the Dreamcast.
Right.
But there were plenty of smaller ones where you could be on the Dreamcast playing the Insta-Gib, like one shot, one kill mode in this game.
Yeah.
In like some wacky map or something that never came with it. And it worked just fine on the Dreamcast. So you couldn't mod on the console, but it was like the beginnings
That's
of
fucking cool.
a mod community.
Yeah.
Because there were people that were building maps specifically, like you'd go to servers and be like Dreamcast friendly custom maps or like custom models and stuff. And you could actually track them down. There was no filter, but you just look for Dreamcast in the server title.
Yeah.
And so people that were on Dreamcast could still play these crazier maps. And it was another one of those things like Quake was so good about, where it took like the game on disc was just such a small part of what you could play at large as the game developed. And to be able to do that on a fucking game console was insane. Like that was definitely one of the coolest
in
things I did on there.
1999.
Yeah.
Yeah, even by
1999,
today's
man.
standards, that's crazy.
Technically 2001.
Yeah.
By the
Sure.
time Quake
Okay,
came
sure,
out. But yeah, it was
man.
incredible.
Come on, Sega. Dreamcast 2 win.
And then I got a couple other neat little facts. At the time of the release of the Dreamcast, it had the best-selling hardware launch of all time in the U.S., selling over 200,000 units on launch day and over 1 million units in its first week.
Wow.
So that was significant at the time.
Yeah.
That's, dude, I'm telling you, that sell.
The first
you said-
PlayStation took, I think, 2-3 months to sell 600,000 units, which was still a lot back then.
Really?
Everybody was playing the
Dreamcast
Dreamcast.
smashed it real
Yeah.
quick.
Everybody was playing the Dreamcast.
Well, PS1 had been out for a few years already. That came out in 96 in the US. And then also that SegaNet service I had mentioned, there was an offer to sign up for a 2-year subscription up front, which I don't know how much would it cost. Probably a lot.
Yeah.
And it would actually include a Dreamcast. So if you didn't have one, it was like the beginning of subsidized gaming or something where you could just go to the store and be like, I want the SegaNet subscription
Yeah.
because like my boy's going to be playing a lot of Phantasy Star Online, I guess, or whatever.
Jeez.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of weird things at the time that are now things that like
Are standard.
they're staples in modern
Yeah.
gaming. Yeah. Another big one was that the system used a modified form of Microsoft's Windows CE operating system, and Sega's work with Microsoft to optimize the OS for their console hardware. And after seeing PlayStation 2's success as a multimedia device rather than just a game console, is what originally inspired Microsoft to eventually create the Xbox.
Oh,
And they've
that's
had a
interesting.
great working relationship ever since then. That's why when Xbox first came out, we were starting to see a lot of those franchises that we knew as Dreamcast games end up finding a home on Xbox. Like Seaman got a port over there.
Shenmue.
Jet Set Radio Future got ported over to the first Xbox. Yeah, Shenmue 2, which was in development for Dreamcast,
See, man.
only got a console release on the Xbox. It like so clearly their time working together was well
See, man,
spent.
wasn't that one where you could grow those weird fish head
Let's
people?
not-
Yes.
Let's not
That's what I'm
talk about
I'm
it.
sorry I even brought it up. Great game, though. Great. Oh, God. You talk about a game to smoke some weed to. It's
Jesus
Seaman.
Christ. God.
Something else that a lot
Play
of
some
people don't
Seaman,
know
then go play some Spore.
is that Peter Moore was working at Sega of America during the time of the Dreamcast and eventually became the president of Xbox
Really?
during the Xbox era.
That's cool.
So, again, another little... They're tight. They're real tight, those Sega and Microsoft guys. One last little fun fact was that Dreamcast still has a huge homebrew scene as far as people doing homebrew and writing software
That
for it and
does
everything.
not surprise me.
A lot of that was because of how, what some might say was also the reason, one of the main reasons for the downfall of the Dreamcast is it's incredibly easy to run custom software on it.
Mm-hmm.
The disc that they made for the Dreamcast is not a CD or a DVD. It's called a GD-ROM. And it's meant to be, it's a
Goddamn ROM.
It's a double density CD that like music, like CDs. You remember, kids, back in the day, music came on a disc.
Speaking
So
of,
is this like double the storage of a CD or
It
something?
was not quite double. It was like just over 1 gigabyte of storage capacity.
Oh shit, a gigabyte?
Yeah, whole gigabyte. But the reason they did that was to fight off piracy because you couldn't read these. You couldn't read these discs on a computer, and it was set up in a way that if you put it in a computer, it would just play off a message on the audio that was like, "Hey, this only works in a Dreamcast."
Really?
Yeah. Same if you put in a
interesting.
music CD player.
That's
And some of them actually had custom messages. Like in Shenmue, if you put the Shenmue disc in, it would actually be the voice actor for Ryu
Really?
would say the
Nice.
warning message.
I remember
That's
you could
funny.
also play CDs on the Dreamcast.
Yeah, you could. It had a music CD player. But the PS1 did it before that too.
Yeah.
That was not unusual at this point.
But I didn't.
It's not
have
unusual.
a PS.
To have a music player.
Speaking of music players, sorry, a little side tangent. Sony is actually coming out with a new version of the Walkman.
It's just an anniversary thing. It's not.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, it's garbage. You know why? Because it's only 16 gigabytes.
yeah, because it's a
Yeah.
new version of
Oh,
Walkman.
I thought you
No.
were actually going to say it was
Dude,
going to
It's
be
like
like
buying a
CD
PlayStation
player.
Classic. You don't actually play it. You leave it in the box. You let it look nice on your shelf.
Yeah.
Just like that NES Classic over there.
Now, the homebrew thing is really funny because, again, they made this proprietary disc to stop piracy,
But
it
only
didn't work at
encouraged
all.
piracy.
Because
Yeah.
people figured out that, like, I don't remember the trick, but essentially it became really, really easy to rip these discs. And then they had this other thing that they thought was really cool that didn't ever take off, where they made something called a My CD format. And the idea was that you would buy a CD at the store, like an audio disc or whatever. And if you put it into a compatible player, it would pull up like an early style of like a DVD menu. And you could watch like music videos on it that came on the CD or find like the lyrics
Dreamcast
and
did
stuff.
have like a slight menu to it.
Yeah.
When you booted it up and like a CD didn't necessarily load right away, you did get like options kind of like the PS2, but not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And only like 10 albums were ever released with this like support for this format.
Fuck, really?
But there was an exploit in this format where, because when you boot up a disc, the Dreamcast has to read it long enough to see if it's this My CD thing or if it's a Dreamcast game or a regular music CD. And so people found a way to copy the like initializing code for the My CD thing and then tell it, hey, the third track is actually this Dreamcast game. And then it would just boot the Dreamcast game.
Oh, no.
And so
fucking
that's
way.
why to this day, you can just burn a Dreamcast game to a CD with like no hassle. Like anyone can do this and put it in their Dreamcast and just play these games.
And it would still be like pretty much as good as the original quality.
Yeah, and what was sad is that this exploit was discovered and finalized just after Dreamcast took that price cut, because their whole idea was that we can sell this for $150 and undercut PlayStation, and we'll make all of our money back in software sales.
Sure.
And then
Seems
the piracy
right in
scene
theory.
blew up overnight.
Yeah.
And now suddenly their software sales are going down the drain because, again, you've bred your audience to be like this, oh, we're internet enabled. We're we're such a tight knit community, blah, blah, blah. And then someone tells you, hey, dude, you ever heard of Napster? You want to download some Dreamcast games, bro?
Wow.
And so that, along with the fact that the PS2 came out and just sold like gangbusters, is a lot of the reason why the Dreamcast ended up failing.
Man.
Yep.
History.
Dreamcast could have been the best console ever.
We didn't deserve the Dreamcast.
It's true.
It was the game console we needed, but not the one we deserved.
Yeah,
yeah.
it can't be understated how like much that is reverberated through the gaming industry, and like the stuff that we see today is clearly stuff that like the Dreamcast was the first.
Yeah,
one
I mean, if the Dreamcast never came out, I don't think
there'd be no Xbox.
Yeah.
Tell you that right now.
that's fucking A. Good
Yeah,
point.
because the only reason they
Fucking
even
A.
got a whiff of getting into the games industry was their work with Sega.
Really?
And there
Well,
were
yeah,
a lot
that's
of
what you're saying
executives that worked at Sega of Japan during the Saturn days that were like, we shouldn't do another console after the Saturn. Because it was the same thing. Like,
Was the
PlayStation
Saturn a
came
bomb?
out. Well, it's not that they was a bomb. It's that the PlayStation and the
One,
Nintendo 64 were such runaway successes
Okay.
comparatively. Saturn was expensive. It was hard to develop for.
The catalog of games wasn't as
Extensive.
not. I wouldn't say extensive, but
Well,
as
PS1
high
and
quality.
important.
PS1 and N64 were moving into 3D games.
Yeah,
And on Saturn, it was
side-
really,
it was still
really
side-scrolly,
difficult to
right?
do that.
kind of.
Well, a lot of it was from the 16-bit
Yeah.
era of side scrollers and stuff like that. But and even PS1, a lot would argue, was doing 3D a little
Yeah.
too early because some of the
of
best
those Star
some of the
Wars
best PS1
games-
games are not 3D.
Yeah.
And the ones that are 3D look like shit. And a lot of them don't play super
There's a reason
well.
they're remaking Medieval.
And it's the same on N64. But the
I'm excited for the medieval remake.
I'm excited for the remaster too because the first one looks bad.
all PS1 games look bad.
Yeah, they
Exactly.
do.
And man, I will say Final Fantasy VIII looks so awkward right now because all the high quality character models and then all the backgrounds are still super blurry and stuff.
But the character models look so good.
The important thing's
They do look
important.
really good.
Yeah.
The important things look good.
You just
That's all
really
that matters.
see how emo Squall is now. It really comes.
He's the
across.
best looking guy at the party.
He is. Yeah, he is.
Best fucking.
Now
he
I see.
really-
Don't
he
understand
really
any of
fucking
these
is.
references.
Okay,
Play
so
some games, dude. Why is Andrew even on this podcast? He doesn't play video games.
I actually want to explain this meme to him. So
I get it. Like
Do you?
they have to go to like some sort of party in the game.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Yes.
And what? I guess he has to look pretty or something.
No.
And Squall's all worried
see,
about
you
it.
don't get it.
Fuck! I don't care.
So the character models were just so bad back then that there's a line from Renoa where she says, "You're the best looking guy at the party," and you couldn't really tell back then because all their faces were just smudges. But
So it looked like pixel art.
yeah, but now you can tell he is actually the most handsomest guy because he's fucking
Yeah, that's
Squall
the
If
one
Zell
where
didn't
they're,
have
like,
that
standing
stupid
outside
face
the party or
tattoo, he'd be
something.
pretty good looking.
Fuck Zell.
Zell looks like an idiot. But I like those characters in these
I like
games.
8. I like the romance of 8. So.
Okay. Yeah. Fun.
Very fun.
Yeah.
I was thinking earlier, it's a shame that the Sega never got a Final Fantasy on
Like
any
an
of the Segas.
like an RPG for itself, or like actual
just a Final Fantasy game.
Nah.
I wish.
Wait.
I don't know.
Oh no, Crystal Chronicles was for 64.
Yeah, but did Sega ever have a relationship with Square?
I don't know, actually.
Yeah, I don't think it would ever make sense for a
Maybe
Final
if they
Fantasy
did
game to
better,
ever be
they
released
would
on a
have
Sega
earned a
console.
relationship with Square.
Yeah.
Squaresoft didn't play well with others back then, if I remember correctly.
Oh, good call. Remembering they used to be
Well-
called SquareSoft.
I remember that every time I boot up a Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I know, right?
It actually makes me sad on some of the remasters when they don't have the old logo.
8,
Yeah.
8 starts off with Square Enix, but then
Yeah,
when you
but then
go
it boots into, like, the
it
original
boots
video
into it,
and
I
it's
it's
will say,
Squaresoft,
anytime I
yeah.
play like a Dragon Quest games and it boots up Square Enix, I'm like, oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I know, right?
It just used to be Enix.
Man, no, it used to just be. Oh, wait. Enix was Dragon Quest. That's right. I forgot.
Who's Enix?
The
Enix
Enix
was-
part of Square Enix.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that
Yeah, well,
Squaresoft
because-
absorbed a different.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
just
because-
changed
Just
their
rebranded.
fucking name. Yeah,
That was like the big
That
that
was
was,
a
like the
merger.
big deal
Oh.
because like it was like the two big Final Fantasies where it was like Dragon Quest and
Two big RPGs.
yeah.
yeah,
I was gonna
thank
say,
you.
yeah.
Two big RPGs, Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy. And then when they combined, or in like Dragon Quest was run by Enix and Final
That's
Fantasy was run by
awesome.
SquareSoft,
That's cool.
and they combined into Square Enix.
I did not know that. Yeah, I literally just thought they changed their fucking name because of business reasons or something. I don't know. That's cool.
Yep.
Trying to see if there are any other big games that Enix did.
I think
Honestly, that
A
was
lot of Japanese stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was-
Star Ocean. That's right. Star Ocean was Enix.
I would have barely just started hearing about that when I
Well,
was.
Star Ocean started in the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And then 2 was on PlayStation. I've been wanting to replay 3. Oh, yeah. Duh. Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider 3, man.
really?
Yeah, because I don't think it was the other Tomb Raiders, but they published Tomb Raider 3.
Nice.
And then those publishing
that
agreements
the
are the reason
snow
that
one?
Squaresoft now publishes them. Yes, it's very snowy in Tomb Raider 3.
She's like in a snow outfit, like on the front of that one, I think.
Oh yeah, Grandia 2. Oh god, so good. So good. Well, guys,
I think that's it.
Want to call it?
anyone else burping up a lot of dumpling?
Oh
Yeah, I told you.
I think I've
Yeah.
relaxed actually, and I'm gonna kill this sandwich, so it's gonna push everything down.
Give me a bite of that sandwich.
No, I'll make you one.
I don't want a whole
I
sandwich.
kind of want bagel
I'll
bites.
make you one. You should make some of those bagel bites. I'll eat some of those bagel bites.
You can go preheat the oven.
You just said you were okay. All right, fine.
Why don't you preheat the oven? And then while you're gone, I'm getting me a bite of that sandwich.
Take the sandwich with me.
All right, guys, this has been episode 15 of
It's a
the Absent Minded
milestone.
podcast. As always, I have been your host, Travis Stockton, along with me, Andrew Crandell and Ethan Newbolt, also known as @Ray Charlazard and @Andrew Loves Video Games and @SoulsBjorn on Twitter and Instagram. And sometimes Twitch.
I actually started streaming, so I think I'm.
You streamed a lot of Control the other day. You said, what, like 4 hours?
4 hours. Yeah. So
Partner in no time.
I need to. I think
Affiliate
I'm actually going to
first.
start. I know I always keep saying this, but I'm going to start doing it more frequently. So twitch.tv/Andrew Loves Video
We're gonna
Games.
make him.
The time down.
Yep.
Hey, he's got the tripod now.
It's true. You can see my beautiful
You
face.
said he had that.
Well, he's got it set up now. It's placed within use.
Good sandwich.
Is it a good sandwich? What kind of peanut butter you got on there?
Crunchy.
It's just. It's.
Oh, he got you the crunchy you asked
Yeah.
for. See, you act like Drew doesn't care. Oh, guys, I
Oh,
wish
look
this
at
was on
that.
camera.
Oh my god.
Ethan, ooh,
That
your
is
bread's
a
stale.
moment between best friends
It's been
right
sitting
there.
on the table.
Why is
She
your
wouldn't
bread
let me
stale?
eat it.
You know what? That
Oh,
like,
it's just from when on the table? Okay, I was going to say, throw away your bread.
It was very soft when I got
God,
it.
damn it. I was about to say that reminded me of the moment of like on the Sistine Chapel where just like David's reaching out to God. Yeah.
It's Ethan reaching out to me with some peanut butter and jelly. All is right in the world. As always, we go live every Friday morning at 10 a.m. on absentmindedpodcast.com and your favorite podcast platform of choice. If you ever want to leave us a message, you can do so on absentmindedpodcast.com by clicking the little voice message button, telling us what's going on in your life, sharing a story or two. And you can also use the listener support program to donate $1, $5, or $10 once or monthly, whatever suits you. But if you don't, that's fine too. That suits us.
Not me. Go
We just
donate.
enjoy you listening.
Buy Ethan some more peanut butter and jelly. Crunchy. Crunchy only, please. Take care, you guys.
All right.
We love you.
You know what? We went damn near that whole episode without saying something in the exact same time.
No, we
till
didn't.
right then at the end.